Well, we know that the Pythagorean theorem states that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So for problem 1, I started out by drawing a big orange square, and that represented the hypotenuse c squared. And then the smaller square, the green square, that represented b squared. And you told us that side b must be 5 units shorter than c. So I drew b here, and then there's 5 units that account for the 5 plus b, which equals c. So the area of the big square is c squared, or it is b plus 5 squared. And factored out, that equals b squared plus 10b plus 25. And then the area of the small square equals b squared. So when we subtract that, that gives us this area difference in blue. And so b squared plus 10b plus 25 minus b squared equals 10b plus 25, which represents the area for this side length, a squared. So when we look, you wanted us to make a chart of 5 different numbers. So I solved for b. Since we know that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, we know from the previous page a squared equals 10b plus 25, and I solved to find b alone. So b equals a squared minus 25 divided by 10. And we know that c minus b has to equal 5 because b is 5 units shorter than c. So c equals 5 plus b. And then looking at this formula, a has to be 15 or larger, because that's the only way that we can get a clean number after we fill it in, subtract 25, and divide it by 10. And so here are the numbers I got from my chart. For the first one, n equals 1. The smallest a could be was 15. And then I plugged the a in, this 15, into b formula and got 20. And then I plugged in the b into the c formula and got 25. And I continued to do that out for the rest. And so then finding a formula for n, for any number for a, b, and c, I found that a equaled 10n plus 5. And then I plugged in this a into this original formula up here. So I squared 10n plus 5, and I continued to subtract 25 and divide by 10, and figured that out. So b equals 10n squared plus 10n. And then c, we just add 5. So c equals 10n squared plus 10n plus 5. And then you asked us to find n equals 1, n equals 5, n equals 10. So I just took any time I saw n in the formula, I filled it in for the n value that you gave us. So for n equals 1, I filled 1 in for every time. For a, I did 10 times 1 plus 5. B, I did 10 times 1 squared plus 10 times 1. And c, I did 10 times 1 squared plus 10 times 1 plus 5. So the Pythagorean triple for n equals 1 is 15, 20, 25. For n equals 5, it was 55, 300, 305. And for n equals 10, it was 105, 1100, and 1105.